everyone, welcome back. This is Claire Griffin from Pilates Physio Cork. This is part 2 of the Fundamentals of Pilates. This is our block 2, nearly said block 3, this is our block 2, week 4. Okay, so in part 1 we went through standing exercises. Part 2 is going to take in some sitting exercises, so this is going to be a little bit shorter than the standing. Okay, this is part of a 5 part series, so this is part 2 of the sitting. Okay. Main rules as usual, make sure you're not breath holding, that you're breathing as much as you can using your diaphragm, which if you can try and visualize getting the breath as far as you can down into the belly or into the tummy to use the diaphragm, using the ribs so that the ribs are moving laterally or out to the side. Just make sure you're symptom free, so that means no pain, no pins and needles, no numbness, no leaking or whatever your symptoms might be. Push yourself, but just make sure you're symptom free, really important. I also should mention that anybody who has bone health modifications should just be wary of doing any bending with combined rotation exercises. In my last video there was a couple of stretches you just need to be mindful of if you're bending if you're twisting and doing a flexion or bending forward motion. You need to be mindful to modify those stretches or just leave them out altogether. Okay, so that's for people with osteopenia, osteoporosis. So what we're going to start with in our sitting position are some roll-ups. Okay, so on our mat or on the carpet, whatever you're having yourself. Okay, so we're going to go into our sitting position. So find yourself get yourself into a comfortable sitting position. What we're going to do we're going to do some roll-ups. Okay, you can either rest your hands here, I'm not too bothered about where your hands are resting, or you can place them down by your sides. Okay, again, just make sure you're breathing, you're not holding your breath. Sometimes when you're doing something new or you haven't done before, you will be tending to hold your breath because you're concentrating on the exercise so much. Just make sure you're breathing, okay, and not holding the breath. And as much as you can, try and get the breath right down into the tummy and use the bottom ribs to move outwards and inwards. All right. With your roll up, what you want to do is keep yourself as relaxed and soft. Try not to have any tension. Be mindful as you're moving through the exercises. If there is tension, where is it? Can you release out that tension? Can you use your breath to release your tension? All right. So you just want to keep yourself as soft and as loose as possible. And we're going to start by doing your roll up. So we're trying to come up as tall as we can. Okay. So try and imagine that you're trying to lengthen your neck and your spine as much as you can up towards the ceiling. Okay. And then we're slowly going to tuck our tail under. Okay. So we're going to do a posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, and very gradually we're just going to let ourselves fall down towards the floor as if you're morphing towards the floor. Okay, and then we're going to let ourselves fall back as far as you feel you can. If you want to hold on to the legs with the hands, you can do that. If you want to trail the arms back here to make it a little bit more difficult, you're definitely going to feel it more in the abdominals when you do that. And then you're going to come back up. Okay, you're going to try and push your tail out a little bit more, extend yourself, extend or lengthen the spine back to the start. Okay, so let's do that again. Tuck the tailbone under, okay, as if you're trying to bring the upper part of your backside down towards the floor. So you're tucking your tailbone in under. What you'll feel is you'll feel like initially you may have a little bit of a hollow in your back. When you tuck your tailbone under, you may feel like you're lifting the pelvis up in the front, okay, and that you're flattening your back. You can hold on to the knees, as I said. To make it harder, have the hands here or trail the hands on the floor. Going to bring yourself back as far as you feel you can. Get the time under tension, try and keep the abs working, watch the breathing, coming back up. Okay, that's 2, we're going to go for 10 reps. Okay, so back to 3. Watch the breathing, up, lengthen as much as you can. 4, back up. That's number 5. 6. 7. And 8. going to change my hand position just to show you what you can do. 9, or you can hold on to the shins or and the knees if you want to. And 10. Okay, so during that exercise, what you may be aware of, okay, you may be aware of a lot of work going on in the quads, maybe in the hip flexors. Okay, what you can do is feel free to take a break at any stage. If you're feeling any symptoms, make sure you try and adjust your position. Okay, so you may want to modify your position. It might be easier to bring your knees to your chest, might be easier to move the feet away from you, maybe bring the legs wider apart. Okay, if you're trying to do, or if you've done all of those things and you feel any symptoms like pain, just rest, take a breath, control the breathing, and maybe set that one out. If by trying to modify your position you can't relieve your symptoms. Okay, so always be symptom free, really, really important. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do an oblique roll up. Okay, so basically it's the same thing, except we're going to try and just take in a rotation to each side. Okay, so we're going to rotate to the right first, and then we're going to rotate to the left. All right, so again, you can have your hands in any position that you wish. You can have your hands up here and try and do an oblique as you're going into your roll up position to the side, and then same on the other side. So I'm going to keep my hands here. What we're going to do again is we're in the upright position, trying to lengthen the spine as much as you can. Okay, you may feel a little bit of a hollow in the spine here. What you're trying to do is, again, you're doing your roll up position, so you're dropping down, trying to tuck the pelvis under, flatten the back as you move back, and introduce an oblique with that. Okay, so we're starting with the lengthened spine. Okay, dropping down, tuck the pelvis under, rotate around as you bring yourself back. Okay, rotate back to the center and up again. Okay, so for those of you who have bone health issues, osteopenia, osteoporosis, I would avoid doing this one. Okay, so you can continue on and do 10 reps of the regular roll up that we just went through instead of doing this one. Okay, so we're going to do 10 to the right. Okay, back up. Dropping down, watch the breathing. Okay, what you can do is, if you're finding it difficult with the arms up, you can hang on to your knee. Okay, and rotating around and trying to drop yourself back and back up. So we're trying to work our internal external obliques here in the tummy muscles, back around. Okay, so we're doing, I think this is number 5. Rotating around, go as far back as you feel you can. 7. Back up, drop down. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, I'm going to swap around. We're going to do the same thing on that left hand side. Okay, so again, trying to stay as tall as you can to begin with. Try and lengthen the spine, so imagine your spine is as long as you can get it. Little bit of a curve or hollow in your lower back, such that when you begin, you'll flatten your lower back by tucking your tailbone under and lifting the tail or the pelvis up in the front. Okay, so I'm going to keep my hands here. So flattening down, moving towards the floor, coming back down, and back up. 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Watch the breathing. 7. You can go as fast or as slow as you want to. Okay, again, in the class, as you know, everybody will be working at different speeds. Number 9 and 10. Okay, so that's our oblique work, our oblique roll-ups, I should say. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Is I'm just going to turn my mat We're going to do an exercise called the saw. So we're going to stretch the legs out, okay? What we're going to do is we're trying to stay as long as possible, okay? In fact, let's show you that from the side. Move the mat back again. Okay, so legs outstretched, roughly kind of double shoulder width apart, okay? You're trying to stay as long as you can here to begin with. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your right hand to your left foot, okay? So we're going to stretch down, okay, and back up. And then same on the other side and back up, okay? That's 1 rep, back up, and 2 reps and back up. Okay, so for those of you with nice flexible hamstrings, you may be able to get your opposite hand right over the top of your toes, okay? For me, I can touch my toes, which is really good, okay? I wasn't always able to do that. Okay, so what you're trying to do is not slump down too much. You try to keep yourself as long in the spine as possible. Try and keep everything as loose. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere, that you're trying to breathe as much as you can, okay? Don't hold any tension in the tummy, just relax as much as you can. Okay, so again, we're going to keep going. Try and keep your head in line with your spine, so try not to tuck the chin in too much, okay? Or try not to be extending while looking upwards, all right? So that opposite hand will naturally go behind, okay? Use your breath. So inhale, exhale. It doesn't matter whether you inhale as you lean forward or you exhale as you lean forward. You can take, you can do longer breaths if you wish, whatever works for you, so long as you're not holding your breath. Okay, so we're doing 10 reps and coming up after each one. Okay, so after doing those 3, you'll probably feel it a lot in your hip flexors. If you need to at any stage to stop, take a moment, what you can do is you can stretch out. Okay, you can just almost go into a cobra position and stretch up if you wish. Okay, or you can go into leaning on the elbows and just resting there. Okay, or you can even go into a push-up position and stretch out the hip flexors in that position. Whatever you're having yourself. Okay, so that is the end of our part 2, the sitting part of the block 2, week 4. See you in part 3. Thank you.